Story 1. The real trick is to be mature enough with your significant other to celebrate it the weekend before or after whatever is Valentine's weekend, which this year is next weekend. There's a good chance our favorite restaurant will have way more tables, and there won't be any overpriced Valentine's specials we may feel obligated to get. Celebrating it on the day itself seems super important when you're first dating, but after time, you don't need a specific day to tell you to go out, and you should have no issues celebrating it at a different time because it's still fun to have a reason to go out. Story 2. Single woman here. Honestly, I've grown to appreciate Valentine's Day more since I started treating it as self-love day. I buy myself fancy chocolate, take a bubble bath, and watch my favorite movies. Way better than stressing about whether someone is going to buy me flowers. Story 3. Let people enjoy things. If someone doesn't want to celebrate, then don't. If someone likes all the themed items, they can enjoy it too. Obviously, like with anything, it shouldn't lead to poor spending habits. This planet is full of so much hate, negativity, division, and lack of empathy. If this heart-shaped chocolate and throw blanket give someone joy, let them. Can be said about any holiday too. Story 4. I think it is underrated. I love this holiday. Though I have been single for the past few years, people in my life make me feel incredibly special and loved on this day. I think the enthusiasm is contagious. Story 5. It's a commercial trap, but I'm not going to lie. Any excuse to eat more chocolate and get cheesy gifts is a win in my book. So, hate the pressure, love the perks. Story 6. I understand how some people get annoyed by the commercialization and overconsumption of it, and I understand how some people think it's fake nothingness to bother people, but I personally have been married for 5 years and so in love for 8, and I sincerely love the opportunity to give my wife a gift an extra time a year. I love giving her surprises and treating her well, but it's nice to have this extra day as a designated gift-giving day and time to reflect and be so happy I'm with her. Story 7. It is a bunch of nonsense invented for the sales of cards, chocolate, and flowers. Also, some people have silly expectations about it and let it put pressure on their relationships. It is kind of like Christmas, the light edition. Haha. Story 8. I can't stand it. It's mostly because I was dumped on Valentine's Day years ago. I hope everyone's flowers wilt and their chocolates are stale on that day. Story 9. There's enough hatred in the world as it is. We need a day to celebrate love. It doesn't even have to be romantic love. There's all kinds of love that should be celebrated on Valentine's Day. You can love your platonic friends, you can love your family. Both should be a part of Valentine's too. Story 10. It's depressing. I say that it's commercial nonsense, which it is, but honestly, I probably wouldn't have formed that opinion if it had ever been a thing before I became old and cynical. I probably need to reframe it as a love yourself day and buy myself a nice meal. Then I could look forward to it. Story 11. I call it a Hallmark holiday, not rich in substance, just a way to keep us consuming. Cards, candies, chocolates, clothes, meals. It's a good day to keep the wheels of capitalism turning. Story 12. I would rather be shown on any day except Valentine's Day how much a partner cares about me. If flowers, gifts, etc. are given on that date, I think it's because it's expected of them and not because they really want to do it. Story 13. On one hand, it's nice. My love languages are gift-giving and affirmation, so it kind of ties into that well, and I'll take any excuse to get dressed up, go out, and have a nice time together. But I think it's a little sad that people get so hung up on the commercialization of it. The gifts don't have to be big flowers, generic teddies, and chocolates. They could be a little more thoughtful and specific to your partner. Also, it doesn't have to be a gift. Your gift could be planning a nice comfy movie night with good food and just uninterrupted time together, or a little handmade card or collage, or it could be a letter. Also, I feel sad when I think about how in high school, every girl I knew would be desperate to get a rose at school, and the ones who didn't would be so disappointed. My dad used to buy me a rose every year to make sure I didn't miss out. He'd go to the office when I was in class to organize it, even if he knew I already got one from someone. He was so cute. Story 14. It's how you're treated throughout the year that matters. I used to work in this office. The administrator was married to one of the maintenance guys. He would send her this ridiculously large bouquet of flowers on Valentine's Day. Of course, the whole office saw it. She loved it. What she apparently didn't know was he was seeing other women who worked there throughout the year. My daughter worked in floral at a local grocery store. She hated Valentine's Day because of all the men who would stop by on their way home from work to get anything, didn't matter, as long as they had something to give their wife when they got home. It was crazy. My husband has brought me flowers and treats since we began dating 45 years ago. Randomly. That's true love. Story 15. It is annoying working in the restaurant industry. A crazy amount of people get mad if they cannot have dinner on the actual day. It is not our fault you called the same day and there is no room. Story 16. Fortunately, in the culture I grew up in, it's branded as a friend day. You remind your friends that you care and think about them. If you happen to have a romantic partner, you might do something special together. But I personally love giving and receiving friend day greetings. Story 17. Lesbian here, it's an excuse to get my dog a toy. Make a fancy dinner for my wife and attempt to unplug and focus on one another for a night. My wife thinks it's too much like a Hallmark card, but it's just being thoughtful and following through. Seriously, it's all some women want. This world could use some more warmth and positivity. If anything, it's a day to hang out with my buddy and drink and eat appetizers. Story 18. It should be relabeled National Singles Awareness Day. Maybe while Donald Trump is signing those executive orders, one of them could be to rename Valentine's Day. Take care, everybody. Story 19. Hate it. It's just a reminder that I'm alone and no one loves me or wants to be with me. I never celebrated Valentine's Day with anyone special, and I probably never will. Story 20. Dad died February 13th. I found out on Valentine's Day. I've been single my whole life. I don't really care for Valentine's Day. I hate it depending on how I feel that year. Story 21. It's the day when unkind partners go above and beyond to show their love and then resort to treating their partner poorly for the rest of the year. Oh, I overpaid for flowers and dinner to prove my love, but won't do anything the rest of the year. Story 22. Hallmark Holiday. Invented by greeting card companies to make money. Same as Mother's Day or Father's Day. Greeting cards are such a waste. And I can't wait until the day this antiquated tradition dies forever. Send flowers, chocolates, or something useful. Forget killing trees for a card that will be discarded a week later. Story 23. One of the biggest scams of a Hallmark holiday that there is. Hate it with a passion. Never celebrated it with anyone I have dated, and they are all aware of my distaste for it. Crowded restaurants and roads? Forget about it. I'm staying home and cooking a nice steak. Story 24. It is stupid, crowded, and expensive. Just pick another time to buy them whatever works as a gift and go to another restaurant they like that is not as busy. Do not follow the crowd, do what works for them. Story 25. Not a fan, personally. I don't necessarily have anything against it, but when you are single and have a birthday the same week, the double whammy of being reminded you are both alone and getting older can be a bit rough at times. Story 26. Fake Hallmark holiday designed to make people pay exorbitant prices. If you love someone, then you should be showing them daily, and usually it's the smallest things that have the biggest impact. Actually spending time with someone, bringing them a hot drink in bed, randomly bringing them flowers, their favorite baked goods, or whatever because you were thinking of them. Valentine's Day is far too forced. Story 27. It's stupid and is a breeding ground for people to feel left out, forgotten, and so on. Especially if it's during school, a couple of other kids, and I never received anything, and it kind of damaged them in a way I didn't like. Story 28. My husband killed himself in December 2023, and I had to put my 17-year-old cat, whom I raised since he was a kitten, down on Valentine's Day. My mom died on February 19th. I hate Valentine's Day. Story 29. I hate how much it can be used to target single people and tell them they should find their special someone. I'd much rather be single than with the wrong person. Too many people have a negative view of being single. If you are in a relationship and you like the idea of Valentine's Day, then go for it. Just stop expecting everyone else to feel the same way. Story 30. I don't really care about it either way. I never understood why people got upset about it when I was single. It was just any other day for me. Though if you just had a breakup, I can definitely understand. And once I was in a relationship, it's just an excuse to go on a date, which I can also do whenever. Story 31. Complete apathy. If it wasn't for the fact that my girlfriend loves it, I would ignore it. But hey, it's not a hill worth dying on since I honestly don't even feel that strongly. So it's easy to deal with it for someone I love. Story 32. I have always been the person who says each year that I'll have a Valentine, but I never got one. I recently started to talk to this guy I like, and I made the first move of asking for his Snapchat. I started talking to him and everything, but a few days ago he added me to a group chat because one of his friends told him that I was a freak, and I was so offended by that. The next day, one of his best friends added me and started talking to me, asking me if I go to the same college as him and some other things. We had some back and forth, and I was like, I think I know who you are. It was the person I expected him to be, and he was like, you're that person who likes. And I haven't responded to him since. I keep seeing the guy I like and his best friend, and I haven't texted the guy I like, and he hasn't texted me either. I feel like he knows that I like him, but he just doesn't like me. I've been feeling sad because I thought that this year I might finally spend Valentine's with someone I like, but I have a class on Valentine's Day, and I'm going to have to see his face even though I don't want to. I know it's a rant and not really related to the topic at hand, but I needed to let it out, and I can't really talk to anyone. Story 33. Honestly, I don't like it purely because I'm never in a relationship during it each year, and I've never been able to fully celebrate it. I've definitely come a long way from hating the holiday and just acknowledge that I don't like it since I personally am really unlucky each year. It's a day that I honestly just want to be over each year and pass as soon as possible because it never goes well. Kind of like April Fool's Day. It's there, you probably don't like it, but you know someone else does, so you let them enjoy it, but you just wait for it to be over. Story 34. I'm single, so I hate it. It's just a cash grab for Hallmark and candy companies. Also, why on earth do you need a holiday to show someone you love them? You can do that on literally any other day. Plus, couples already have anniversaries for that. Story 35. I never cared for the holiday. It is a bit weird. I do not understand going all out on a holiday, a busy one on top of that, when you should go all out any time of the year. But I can see what attracts people to it. Honestly, I just appreciate the cheap candy afterwards. Story 36. I am single, so please leave me alone with anyone celebrating it. If I were not single, I'd celebrate it and tell everyone else to leave me alone. But no, I would probably want to do our special love day at a different time, like our first date anniversary or something. Story 37. It's a pagan holiday that has been exploited to the point that if you don't do something special for your lover, then you don't really love them. I do not celebrate it, nor do I acknowledge it. I do not believe in a set day to show extra love. Doing it randomly throughout the year is a lot more fun. Story 38. I never celebrate because I'm always single, but I kind of like it's a cute holiday. It's not bad, but I also think it's a marketing scheme for candy corporations, and I don't quite see why it has to be special. It revolves around couples mainly, but why does one need a holiday once a year to romance your partner? Shouldn't you be like that all the time? I find it unnecessary. You can date, gift, and seduce people anytime. Same for family and friends too. When it's done out of obligation to a holiday, I think it loses its specialty. Story 39. I like Valentine's Day kahit noon pa man nawala akong partner. Ang saya lang makakita na nagde-date na couples o di kaya mga family and friends na nagsiselebrate. Tapos ang daming flowers and chocolates. Ang festiving feeling. Story 40. I see couples posted all the time. It doesn't bother me on that day. I get chocolates and candy from my mom anyway. Then I joke and hit on girls and ask them to be my Valentine. It's not that far from a regular day for me. Story 41. It was all right. Back in high school, we used to give flowers to our female classmates for fun. But as a grown man, I do not really care about it much, even though I have a partner. It is just not that special, really. Story 42. For people who are chronically single, Christmas time can be a hard thing to deal with because your family will always be asking you when you are going to settle down. Then there are Christmas love story movies and watching other couples be lovey-dovey on Christmas. And with social media, it can often feel like a month-long reminder that you don't have anybody. And then a month and a half later, you get another reminder that you are painfully single. So it's understandable why some people hate the holiday. Story 43, generally, I do not really care about it. I don't hate it. It is just kind of like, whatever. I enjoyed it as a kid, I guess, passing out cards to the class. And gift-wise, personally, we just finished with Christmas. I do not want to be doing gifts again. Story 44. I just ignore it and never buy anything related to Valentine's Day. However, I do take that weekend and do something especially nice with my wife on a day that's not the 14th. Even though it's a marketing day, we can at least still take advantage of restaurant specials and stuff. Story 45. Hallmark holidays, or any holiday for that matter, are a need for consumers to consume. You are an asshole or Grinch in the eyes of society if you do not participate in these norms. I personally could not care less about any of them,